Hello, and welcome back to Sleeping Gift. Tonight, allow me to share a story to accompany you as you drift off to sleep. Before we go any further, take a slow and gentle breath. Let the calm air fill your chest, then slowly exhale. Release every burden you have been carrying. Let your imagination gently guide you into this story. Now, let's begin the story. Breathe in, breathe out, and let me take you away for a moment into a story. Gentle night wind on a grassy hill, calming sleep story for deep sleep and anxiety relief. Before we enter this story, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Now it is time for us to step into this journey. The night wraps around you like the softest blanket, gentle and endless, as you lie peacefully in the stillness, your body resting deep in the bed with half-closed eyes. Far beyond, in the quiet distance of your mind, you see yourself sitting calmly on a grassy hill under the vast, dark sky. The air is cool and kind, touching your skin with the lightest breath. Tall grass surrounds the hill in every direction, swaying ever so slowly as the night wind moves through it in long, wave-like motions. Each blade bends with such tenderness, rising and falling like the chest of someone breathing deeply in sleep. There is no hurry here, only the endless rhythm of the wind whispering across the meadow. You feel the hill beneath you, solid yet soft, cradling your form as you sit in perfect calm. The grass tickles gently against your hands where they rest lightly on the earth. Above, the sky stretches wide and black, dotted with faint stars that glow without shining too brightly. They seem to pulse in time with the slow waves of grass below. The night wind continues its journey, brushing over the tall stems in wide, rolling patterns that travel from one side of the hill to the other, never rushing, always lingering. The sound it makes is barely there, a hushed sigh that fades into the greater silence around you. Everything feels safe and still. Your breathing matches the gentle rise and fall of the grass, in and out, slow and easy, just like the wind moving through the meadow. The tall blades lean together, then separate again, creating soft shadows that shift across the ground in the dim starlight. No other sounds disturb this peace. Only the faint rustle of grass meeting grass, so quiet it feels like a secret shared between the night and the earth. The hill itself seems to breathe with you, its gentle slope supporting every part of your relaxed body. As you observe from your bed with eyes nearly closed, the scene unfolds without effort. The night wind keeps flowing, guiding the tall grass into those slow, wave-like motions that travel across the hillside like a living blanket being smoothed by invisible hands. Each wave is softer than the last, spreading outward in wide arcs before dissolving back into stillness. The air carries a faint, fresh scent of green stems and cool earth. Nothing strong, just enough to remind you of deep, natural calm. Your limbs feel heavier now, sinking comfortably into the bed as the vision of the grassy hill holds steady in your The darkness around the hill is kind and embracing, wrapping the entire scene in layers of quiet. Stars watch from above without moving, their light barely reaching the tips of the tallest grass. The wind persists in its slow dance, pushing the blades into gentle curves that catch the faintest glow before letting them return to their upright rest. Everything here invites rest. There is space for your thoughts to soften, to spread out like the waves across the meadow, becoming thinner and quieter with every passing moment. You remain sitting calmly on that hill in your mind's gentle gaze, feeling the night wind move across your skin in the same slow rhythm that stirs the grass. The tall stems continue their unhurried swaying, creating a living sea of motion that never disturbs the peace. Your breathing stays steady, matching the scene breath for breath. The hill holds you securely, its grassy surface warm from the day's forgotten sun, now cooled by the night into perfect comfort. Shadows play softly at the edges of your half-closed vision, fading in and out without hurry. This is the space you rest within tonight, peaceful, open, and endlessly kind. The stillness of the night surrounds the grassy hill completely, allowing every small movement of the wind to feel like a lullaby written only for you. The tall grass keeps waving in those slow, rolling patterns, each one a little slower, a little softer, guiding your awareness deeper into calm. Nothing needs to happen beyond this gentle observation. You are safe here, lying in bed, quietly watching the night wind move the tall grass on the hill in its peaceful, wave-like motions. The night continues to hold you with the same tender care, your body resting deeply in the bed as your half-closed eyes remain gently fixed on the peaceful scene. On the grassy hill, you sit calmly, feeling the cool night air brush across your skin once more. The tall grass around you keeps moving in its slow, wave-like motions, guided by the night wind that flows without haste. Each wave travels across the hillside in long, gentle curves, the blades bending together and then slowly straightening again, repeating the same soft rhythm over and over. The sound is hushed and familiar now, a quiet rustling that blends seamlessly into the greater stillness of the night. Your hands rest lightly on the grass, feeling the delicate tips sway against your fingers in time with the wind. The hill beneath you feels steady and supportive, its gentle slope cradling your relaxed form as the waves of grass continue their unhurried dance. The night wind moves through the meadow in wide, rolling patterns, stirring the tall stems into those familiar motions that spread from one side of the hill to the other, and then fade back into calm. It is the same gentle movement, returning again and again, like the steady rise and fall of breath. The stars above remain soft and distant, their faint light touching the tips of the grass as the wind passes by. Each blade catches the glow for a moment before the wave continues onward, creating subtle shifts of shadow and light that move across the hillside without any urgency. The air carries that faint, fresh scent of green and earth, wrapping around you like a soft veil. Your breathing stays slow and even, matching the rhythm of the grass as it sways. in and out, deep and peaceful, just as the night wind keeps guiding the tall stems into their wave-like patterns. Small routines begin to settle in this quiet space. The wind returns in its gentle cycles, brushing over the grass in the same slow motions again and again. The blades lean and lift, creating those wide rolling waves that travel across the meadow and dissolve into stillness once more. You feel the cool touch of the air on your face, then on your hands, then across the grass itself, repeating in a calm, predictable flow. Nothing changes sharply. Everything simply continues in its tender, repeating way. The grassy hill holds you securely as you sit there in perfect calm, observing the night wind move through the tall grass with the same soothing consistency. The waves grow slightly more familiar now, each one echoing the last in its unhurried grace. The rustling sound remains soft and low, a constant companion that never rises or falls too much. Your body in bed feels even heavier, sinking comfortably into the mattress while your mind stays lightly connected to the scene on the hill. The darkness around the hill deepens just a touch, still kind and embracing, allowing the faint starlight to play across the moving grass. The night wind persists in its slow journey, stirring the tall blades into those wave-like motions that ripple outward and then settle again. Each repetition brings a deeper sense of safety, as if the meadow itself is breathing with you. The grass continues its gentle swaying, the stems brushing against one another in quiet harmony, creating a living rhythm that invites your awareness to soften further. You remain resting peacefully, lying in bed with eyes half closed, watching the grassy hill where the night wind keeps moving the tall grass in its slow, endless waves. The motions repeat with tender care, each wave a little more familiar, each rustle a little more soothing. The hill supports you completely, its surface warm and steady beneath the cool night air. Shadows shift softly at the edges of the scene, fading in and out without drawing attention. Everything here feels designed to ease you deeper into rest, with the gentle repetition of the wind and grass becoming a quiet lullaby for your mind. The stillness of the night surrounds everything, allowing the small, repeating movements of the tall grass to continue their calm dance. Your breathing aligns perfectly with the scene, slow and steady, just like the waves that travel across the hillside. There is only this peaceful observation, this tender space where the night wind moves the grass in wave-like motions, again and again, guiding you toward deeper calm without any effort at all. The night holds you even more gently now, its embrace deepening as you lie peacefully in bed, your body heavy and relaxed with eyes half closed in quiet observation. On the grassy hill, you remain sitting calmly, surrounded by the tall grass that continues its slow, wave-like motions under the touch of the night wind. The movements have grown slower still, each wave unfolding with greater care, the blades bending in long, deliberate arcs before they begin their unhurried return to stillness. The rustling sound is softer than before, a hushed whisper that lingers in the air for a moment longer, allowing every detail to settle deeply into your awareness. You feel the cool night air moving across the hillside with such tenderness, brushing over each individual blade of grass in turn. The tall stems sway in wide, rolling patterns that travel across the meadow, one gentle wave following another in an even slower rhythm. The hill beneath you supports your form completely, its grassy surface offering a steady, comforting hold as the wind continues its patient journey. Every motion feels more detailed now. The way the grass leans slightly to one side, then gradually straightens, creating subtle shifts of shadow that play across the ground in the faint starlight. The night wind lingers longer on each pass, guiding the tall grass into those wave-like motions with exquisite slowness. Blades catch the soft glow from above for a brief, peaceful moment before the wave continues onward, dissolving back into the quiet sea of green. The scent of cool earth and fresh stems remains faint and soothing, drifting gently around you without ever becoming strong. Your breathing has slowed further, matching the deliberate pace of the grass. Each inhale deep and full, each exhale releasing any remaining tension into the night. Small details emerge more clearly in this slower rhythm. The tips of the tallest blades tremble ever so slightly as the wind passes, a delicate vibration that travels down the stems in a long, gentle wave. The hill itself seems to breathe in time with the scene, its gentle slope rising and falling almost imperceptibly beneath you. Shadows lengthen and soften at the edges of the meadow, created by the slow movements of the grass, then fade again without haste. Everything in this space invites your eyes to rest, half closed, simply witnessing the peaceful unfolding. The night wind moves through the tall grass with even greater patience. Now, each wave-like motion stretching out in time, allowing the rustling to become a deeper, more resonant hush. The blades sway together in unison for longer moments, then separate with infinite care, creating those wide, flowing patterns that ripple across the hillside. Your hands rest lightly on the grass, feeling the cool, soft touch as the stems brush against your fingers. In the same slow rhythm, the stars above remain distant and kind, their light barely touching the moving meadow, adding only the gentlest illumination to the scene. As you lie in bed, the vision of the grassy hill fills your awareness with this slower, more detailed peace. The night wind continues its tender work, stirring the tall grass into wave-like motions that grow ever more languid. The entire hillside feels wrapped in layers of quiet, the air cool and still between each gentle gust. Your body sinks deeper into the mattress, limbs heavy and warm, while your mind stays softly connected to the calm observation. No thoughts need to form here, only the slow, steady presence of the grass swaying under the night sky. The stillness deepens around the hill, allowing every small movement of the wind to be felt with greater clarity. The tall blades continue their unhurried dance, each wave a little longer, a little softer, guiding the entire scene into a more profound sense of rest. The cool night air brushes your skin once more, then moves moves onward through the meadow, repeating its gentle cycle with exquisite patience. Everything here is safe. Everything here is kind, inviting you to simply rest and observe as the night wind moves the tall grass in its slow, wave-like motions. The night cradles you with even greater tenderness, its quiet presence wrapping around your resting body in bed as your half-closed eyes continue to rest gently on the peaceful scene. On the grassy hill, you sit calmly, the tall grass surrounding you in its now familiar, slow, wave-like motions guided by the night wind. The movements have softened further, each wave unfolding with a delicate lightness that allows small observations to appear and then fade away without any weight. The blades bend in long, flowing arcs, their tips catching the faintest starlight for a moment before the gentle wind carries the motion onward, leaving behind only quiet. Light shifts play across the hillside in the most subtle ways. A soft glow touches one side of the tall grass as the wind passes, creating a brief shimmer that travels slowly across the meadow and then dissolves back into the darkness. The hill beneath you feels steady and warm, supporting your relaxed form completely, while the night air moves cool and kind over your skin. The rustling sound remains hushed and low, barely more than a breath, accompanying the slow waves as they ripple outward in wide, unhurried patterns. Everything appears for a gentle instant and then softly fades, like clouds drifting across a distant sky. Your breathing stays deep and even, aligning perfectly with the languid rhythm of the grass. Each inhale brings the cool night scent of earth and green stems, faint and comforting, while each exhale releases any lingering traces of the day into the vast stillness. The tall blades continue their slow swaying, leaning together in clusters before separating again with infinite care, creating those wave-like motions that spread across the hillside without ever demanding attention. Shadows form lightly at the base of the stems, shifting with the wind, then melting away as the next gentle wave arrives. Small observations drift through your awareness like the wind itself. How the tallest grass catches a tiny sparkle of starlight, how the hill slopes so gently beneath you, how the air feels cooler on your hands where they rest on the soft earth. These details appear without effort, linger for a breath or two, and then fade naturally back into the calm. The night wind persists in its patient journey, stirring the meadow into those same slow rolling waves that travel from one edge of the hill to the other and settle once more. Nothing pulls or insists. Everything simply exists in this tender, fading light. The grassy hill holds you securely in its peaceful embrace, the tall grass continuing its unhurried dance under the dark sky. The waves move with such softness now that they seem almost to melt into the surrounding stillness between each pass. The faint rustle blends completely with the greater silence, becoming part of the night rather than something separate. Your body in bed feels heavier still, sinking comfortably into the sheets while your mind remains lightly present with the scene, observing without holding on. The stars above watch with quiet kindness, their distant light touching the moving grass, only enough to highlight the slow motions before letting them return to shadow. The night air brushes across the hillside in cool, gentle currents, carrying the soft scent that wraps around you like a protective veil. Each wave-like motion of the tall grass brings a new, fleeting observation. The way blades overlap and separate, the way shadows play at the edges before everything softens again into peace. There is no need to follow any thought, only this gentle witnessing as the scene continues its slow, soothing rhythm. Lying peacefully in the stillness, you feel the night wind move through the tall grass on the hill in its wave-like patterns, each one lighter and more translucent than the last. The entire meadow seems to breathe with you, slow and deep, inviting every small observation to arise and then dissolve naturally. The hill supports you without effort, its grassy surface offering perfect comfort as the cool air continues its tender work. Shadows and light play their quiet game, appearing and fading in harmony with the wind, allowing the whole scene to rest deeper into calm. This is the gentle space you inhabit tonight, open, safe, and endlessly kind, where the tall grass sways under the night sky in slow, wave-like motions, and every light observation drifts away like mist in the dark. Your breathing remains steady, your body relaxed, as the peaceful scene on the grassy hill continues its unhurried unfolding, guiding you softly toward deeper rest. The night deepens its gentle hold around you, warm and protective, as you lie peacefully in bed with your body fully relaxed and eyes half closed in soft observation. On the grassy hill you sit calmly, enveloped by the tall grass whose slow, wave-like motions continue under the quiet guidance of the night wind. Everything has grown even softer now, the movements stretching out into longer moments of near stillness between each gentle pass. The blades sway with exquisite slowness, bending in wide flowing arcs that seem to pause midway, allowing the hush of the night to settle more completely over the meadow. Here, the focus rests on silence and breathing. The rustling of the grass has become so faint it blends almost entirely into the vast quiet, leaving only the steady rhythm of your own breath as the clearest sound. Inhale, slow and deep, filling your lungs with the cool, fresh air of the night. Exhale, releasing softly into the darkness, carrying any remaining weight away like a leaf on a distant stream. The tall grass mirrors this rhythm, its wave-like motions rising and falling in time with your breathing, each gentle wave lasting longer before dissolving back into calm. The hill beneath you feels like a steady foundation of peace, supporting every part of your relaxed form without any effort. The night air moves across your skin in the lightest currents, cool yet comforting, brushing over the grass and then over you in shared tenderness. Silence wraps the entire scene, wide and embracing, broken only by the occasional softest whisper when the wind touches the tallest blades. Your awareness stays gently present, simply breathing in this space where nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to change. The stars above appear as faint, distant points of light, their glow barely reaching the meadow, adding only the subtlest layer to the deep quiet. The tall grass continues its languid swaying, each wave-like motion now so slow that it feels like the grass itself is breathing alongside you, leaning gently, holding still for a long moment, then returning upright with infinite care. Shadows lie softly at the base of the stems, unmoving for stretches of time before the next faint breeze stirs them into the lightest shift. Breathing in, breathing out, the rhythm carries everything deeper into stillness. No other sounds exist in this peaceful night. The cool earth beneath the grass holds its own quiet presence, steady and kind. Your hands rest lightly where they touch the soft blades, feeling the occasional delicate brush as the wind passes, but mostly sensing only the profound silence between movements. The night wind flows with such patience that its presence is felt more as a gentle absence of tension than as active motion. Each wave across the hillside unfolds like a long, slow sigh, allowing the silence to expand and fill the space completely. Lying in bed, your body grows heavier with every breath, sinking comfortably into the mattress as the scene on the grassy hill continues its focus on this shared breathing. Inhale, the cool night air touches the meadow. Exhale, the tall grass settles back into near stillness. The hill cradles you securely, its gentle slope a perfect resting place where awareness remains light and effortless. The silence feels like a soft blanket, layering over the waves of grass and over your resting form, inviting every thought to dissolve into the quiet. The tall grass keeps moving in its slow, wave-like motions, but now those movements serve mainly as a gentle reminder of the breathing that connects everything. Each long pause between waves deepens the silence further, making the faint rustle when it returns feel like a distant, soothing echo. Your own breath stays steady and calm, matching the rhythm of the night, drawing the entire peaceful scene into a deeper harmony of rest. The darkness around the hill is kind and complete, holding the meadow in its tender embrace while the wind continues its patient, barely there journey. This is the heart of the night's gentleness, silence, and breathing, flowing together on the grassy hill where you sit calmly, observing with half-closed eyes from the safety of your bed. The tall grass waves ever more slowly, the waves stretching into longer moments of pure quiet, allowing your awareness to rest fully in this peaceful breathing space. Breathing space, in and out, deeper and softer with every cycle, as the night wind moves the grass in its slow, wave-like motions, guiding everything toward even greater calm. The night has grown wonderfully soft around you, its presence like a warm, protective veil as you lie peacefully in bed, your body heavy and content with eyes half closed in gentle observation. On the grassy hill, You remain sitting calmly, surrounded by the tall grass that continues its slow, wave-like motions under the night wind's tender guidance. The movements repeat with even greater patience. Now, each wave unfolding in long, familiar patterns that settle deeply into the quiet. The blades lean together in wide, rolling arcs, pause for extended moments in near stillness, then slowly straighten again, creating the same soothing rhythm over and over, like a lullaby that never needs to end. Repetition of visual details and small sounds becomes the gentle heartbeat of this space. The tall grass sways in those familiar wave-like motions, the stems brushing against one another with the softest rustle that returns again and again, always at the same calm pace. The faint starlight touches the tips of the blades as each wave passes, creating tiny, repeating shimmers that travel across the hillside before fading back into shadow. The hill beneath you feels steady and unchanging, its grassy surface offering the same comforting support with every slow breath you take. The night wind moves through the meadow in its predictable, unhurried cycles, stirring the grass into the same rolling patterns that ripple outward and then dissolve once more. The cool night air brushes across the scene in repeating currents, carrying the faint, fresh scent of earth and green stems that wraps around you like a familiar embrace. Your breathing stays deep and steady, aligning perfectly with the repeating waves of grass. Inhale as the blades lean gently. Exhale as they settle back into quiet. The small sounds return softly, the hushed rustle when the wind touches the tallest stems, the delicate whisper as blades overlap and separate, each one echoing the last in perfect, soothing consistency. Shadows at the base of the grass shift in the same slow rhythm, appearing and softening with every repeated wave, never hurried, never abrupt. Visual details repeat with tender care. The way the tallest blades catch the distant starlight for a brief, peaceful instant before the motion continues. The gentle slope of the hill cradling your form in the exact same way with each passing moment. The wide, flowing patterns of the grass as the night wind guides them across the meadow, again and again, creating a living rhythm that feels safe and endlessly kind. The small sounds layer gently on top of the silence. The soft rustling that comes and goes like the tide, always returning at the same unhurried pace, inviting your awareness to rest deeper into the repetition. Lying peacefully in the stillness, you feel the grassy hill holding you securely while the tall grass continues its slow, wave-like motions in their familiar, repeating dance. The night wind persists in its gentle cycles, each pass stirring the meadow into the same rolling waves that travel from one side of the hill to the other and settle back into calm. Your hands rest lightly on the soft earth and grass, feeling the occasional delicate touch as the stems sway past, repeating the same light sensation that blends into the greater peace. The stars above remain distant and steady, their faint glow highlighting the repeating movements without ever changing. The repetition itself becomes deeply soothing, like the steady rhythm of a heart at complete rest. The tall grass sways and pauses, each wave-like motion echoing the previous one with exquisite gentleness. The small sounds of rustling return again and again, softer each time they blend into the quiet. The cool night air moves across your skin in the same comforting currents, carrying the faint scent that feels like home In this peaceful space, everything here repeats with tender consistency, allowing your mind to soften completely. Simply observing the grassy hill where the night wind moves the tall grass in its slow, familiar, wave-like motions. The entire scene breathes with this gentle repetition. Visual details of swaying blades and shifting shadows, small sounds of hushed rustling that come and go in their calm cycle. Your own breathing joins the rhythm effortlessly, deep and slow, matching the waves as they unfold across the hillside again and again. The hill supports you without variation, its steady presence a constant source of safety. In this space of repeating calm, there is only peace, only the soft, ongoing dance of the tall grass under the night sky, guiding you ever deeper into restful awareness. The night has become wonderfully deep and kind, holding you in its soft, protective embrace as you lie peacefully in bed, your body sinking even heavier into the mattress with eyes half closed in the gentlest observation. On the grassy hill, you sit calmly, surrounded by the tall grass whose slow, wave-like motions continue under the night wind. But now those movements have grown so unhurried that nearly all activity feels almost finished. Only the smallest, most delicate traces remain. Faint ripples that travel across the meadow with exquisite slowness, barely disturbing the profound stillness that has settled over everything. The tall blades sway with the lightest possible touch from the night wind, leaning just enough to create the softest wave before they begin their long, gradual return to upright rest. Most of the time, the grass simply stands quiet and still, the previous waves having faded into memory. Only occasional tiny motions persist, a single blade trembling ever so gently at its tip, or a subtle shift in a small cluster of stems as the faintest current of air passes through. The hill beneath you feels completely steady and supportive, its grassy surface offering unchanging comfort while these last small movements play out at the edges of awareness. The rustling sound has become extremely rare and whisper soft, appearing only for the briefest moment when the night wind brushes the tallest grass, then dissolving back into the vast silence without a trace. Shadows lie mostly motionless at the base of the stems, with only the tiniest lengthening or softening when one of those delicate waves arrives. The cool night air moves across the hillside in very infrequent, gentle currents, carrying the faint scent of earth and green that feels more like a distant memory than an active presence. Your breathing remains slow and deep, each inhale and exhale stretching out longer, matching the near stillness of the scene. Almost no activity remains on the grassy hill now. The wave-like motions have slowed to the point where long stretches of complete calm dominate, interrupted only by the smallest, softest stirrings that quickly settle again. The tall grass stands mostly upright and peaceful, its blades relaxed and heavy with the weight of the night. The night wind itself seems to have quieted to its gentlest form, offering only occasional, feather-light brushes that create the faintest ripple before everything returns to perfect rest. The stars above continue their distant, unchanging watch, their light too soft to cast any real movement across the meadow. Lying in the stillness of your bed, you feel the grassy hill holding you in complete safety, while these final small movements linger at the very edge of the scene. The tall grass barely sways anymore, its wave-like patterns reduced to the most subtle suggestions of motion that appear and fade almost immediately. Your Your hands rest quietly on the soft earth, sensing only the occasional lightest touch from a single blade that drifts near before becoming still once more. The entire meadow feels as though it is preparing for deep, unbroken rest, with only these tiny remnants of movement remaining to remind you of the earlier gentle rhythms. The night wind persists in its patient, minimal way, stirring the grass into those last delicate waves that travel slowly across the hillside and then dissolve completely into quiet. The cool air brushes your skin with rare tenderness, then retreats, leaving behind longer and longer periods of perfect calm. Shadows remain nearly motionless, the faint starlight touching the scene without creating any noticeable change. Everything here has grown wonderfully quiet, the activities of the night nearly finished, allowing only the smallest, softest traces of motion to remain in the tall grass. This is the peaceful space you rest within tonight, where the grassy hill cradles you securely, and the tall grass stands mostly still under the dark sky, interrupted only by the gentlest, rarest movements from the night wind. The wave-like motions have become so slow and infrequent that they feel like the final whispers of a long, soothing song. Your breathing continues its deep, even rhythm, aligning with the near stillness that now dominates the scene. There is only this profound calm, this tender, near quiet, as the last small traces of motion linger softly before fading away. The tall grass on the hill remains in its gentle, almost finished state, the night wind moving through it with the lightest possible touch to create those final, delicate, wave-like motions that quickly settle back into complete peace. Everything feels safe. Everything feels ready for deeper rest, with only the smallest movements remaining in this wonderfully quiet night. The night has settled into a profound, velvety softness around you, its embrace warm and infinitely kind. As you lie peacefully in bed, your body now deeply heavy and relaxed, with eyes half closed and the softest awareness. On the grassy hill, you sit calmly, enveloped by the tall grass where the slow, wave-like motions have become even more minimal, and as the light and sounds themselves begin to dim and fade gently into the quiet, the night wind moves with such lightness that its presence is barely felt, stirring the blades into only the faintest suggestions of waves that appear briefly before dissolving completely into stillness. The faint starlight above has softened further, its glow growing dimmer and more distant, touching the tips of the tall grass with only the subtlest hint of illumination before retreating. Shadows that once shifted lightly now lie almost completely still, blending seamlessly into the deepening darkness that wraps the entire hillside. The rustling sounds, already whisper soft, have grown quieter still, appearing only as the rarest, most delicate sighs when the night wind offers its gentlest breath, then fading away into the greater hush without any lingering echo. The cool night air drifts across the meadow in infrequent, ever weaker currents, carrying the faint scent of earth and green that feels more like a memory slowly dissolving. The tall grass stands mostly motionless now, its blades heavy and relaxed under the dimming sky. Only occasional, tiny ripples travel slowly across small patches of the meadow, barely noticeable waves that form and then melt back into perfect calm almost immediately. The hill beneath you remains a steady, comforting foundation, its grassy surface warm and supportive, As the atmosphere around it grows steadily quieter, your breathing is lengthened even more, each inhale slow and full, each exhale releasing softly into the increasing stillness, matching the dimming light and fading sounds of the scene. The night wind itself seems to be quieting, its gentle touches becoming rarer and lighter, allowing longer stretches of complete silence to settle over the grassy hill. The wave-like motions, when they do appear, are so subtle and brief that they feel like the last traces of a dream gently fading at the edge of sleep. The stars continue to recede into the deepening dark, their light dimming to the softest possible glow that barely reaches the tall grass below. Shadows merge more completely with the night, creating a seamless blanket of quiet that covers everything without effort. Lying peacefully in your bed, you feel the grassy hill holding you in this ever quieter space, where the light and sounds continue their gentle descent into calm. The tall grass sways with only the faintest remnants of motion, the night wind brushing through it so lightly that the resulting waves are almost imperceptible. The cool air touches your skin with decreasing frequency, each current weaker and shorter than the last, leaving behind deeper pools of stillness. The entire scene feels as though it is softly dimming, the atmosphere growing hushed and serene, inviting every part of your awareness to rest more fully. The faint rustles that remain are like distant, fading whispers, appearing for the briefest moment before the silence reclaims the space completely. The starlight dims further, casting only the gentlest hints of shadow across the mostly still grass. The hill supports you securely in this quieting world, its presence unchanging and kind as the night wind offers its final, lightest caresses to the tall blades. Everything here is softening. Everything here is growing quieter, allowing the peaceful observation to drift naturally toward even deeper rest. This gentle dimming wraps the grassy hill in layers of tender hush. The wave-like motions of the tall grass have become so infrequent and faint that they blend almost entirely into the stillness, appearing only as the softest suggestions before vanishing. Your breathing continues its slow, steady rhythm, aligning with the quieting light and sounds that now dominate the scene. The cool night air lingers less and less. The stars fade more softly, and the entire meadow settles into a beautifully hushed state, where only the gentlest traces of the earlier rhythms remain. The night wind moves through the tall grass with the lightest possible touch, creating those final, dimming, wave-like motions that quickly dissolve into the deepening quiet. The light above continues to soften, the sounds to fade, allowing the atmosphere on the grassy hill to grow wonderfully peaceful and still as you rest safely in bed, simply witnessing this tender descent into calm. The night has deepened into the softest, most enveloping quiet, cradling you with infinite tenderness as you lie peacefully in bed, your body completely heavy and relaxed, eyes half closed in the gentlest, fading awareness. On the grassy hill, you sit calmly, surrounded by the tall grass where almost no activity remains. Only the barest, most delicate awareness of the space itself lingers in this profound stillness. The night wind has grown so faint that its presence is barely a whisper, stirring the blades into the slightest, almost imperceptible suggestions of movement that appear for the briefest moment before dissolving entirely into calm. The tall grass stands nearly motionless now, its stems upright and heavy with the deep peace of the night, offering only the rarest, tiniest tremble at their tips when the softest breath of air drifts through. The wave-like motions have faded to such an extent that they exist more as a gentle memory than as anything actively happening, leaving long, unbroken stretches of perfect quiet across the hillside. The hill beneath you feels like a warm, steady foundation of safety, supporting your form with unchanging kindness while this near-total stillness settles over everything. The cool night air has become almost still, drifting only occasionally in the lightest possible currents that carry the faintest hint of earth and green before fading away. The starlight above is dimmed to its softest glow, barely touching the meadow at all, creating only the subtlest suggestion of shadow that blends seamlessly into the surrounding darkness. Sounds have nearly vanished completely, the occasional rustle so faint and brief that it feels like a distant echo dissolving into silence the moment it arises. Your breathing remains slow and deep, each cycle stretching longer and softer, aligning with the vast, gentle quiet that now fills the grassy hill. There is only this simple, effortless awareness of the space, the tall grass mostly still, the hills steady and kind, the night holding everything in tender, unbroken peace. Almost no movement disturbs this profound calm. The tall blades rest quietly, their gentle forms blending into the darkness without any need for motion. The night wind offers only the rarest feather-light touch, creating the faintest ripple that quickly melts back into stillness, leaving the meadow in its natural, quiet state. Shadows lie completely at rest, the cool air barely stirring, and the entire scene exists in a state of soft, gentle awareness where nothing pulls or demands attention. The grassy hill simply is, open, safe, and endlessly peaceful, inviting your half-closed eyes to rest fully in this near-silent observation. Lying in the stillness of your bed, you feel the grassy hill cradling you securely in this space of almost complete quiet, where only the gentlest awareness of the tall grass and the night remains. The wave-like motions have all but disappeared, leaving behind a beautiful, unbroken calm that stretches across the meadow like a soft blanket. Your body sinks even deeper into the mattress, limbs warm and heavy, while your awareness stays lightly present with the scene, simply sensing the peaceful stillness without effort or thought. The cool night air lingers less and less. The stars fade further into the dark, and everything softens into this tender, minimal presence. The tall grass on the hill stands in its quiet, upright rest, interrupted only by the rarest, most delicate awareness of space itself. The faint outline of stems against the night, the subtle warmth of the earth beneath, the vast hush that wraps around everything. The night wind is quieted to near nothing, its final traces creating only the softest suggestion of movement before vanishing completely. Your breathing continues its slow, lengthening rhythm, each inhale and exhale blending seamlessly into the greater stillness, guiding your awareness toward even deeper calm. This is the gentle space you inhabit now, where almost no activity remains on the grassy hill, only a soft, effortless awareness of the peaceful meadow under the dark sky. The tall grass rests mostly still, the hill supports you with complete kindness, and the night holds everything in its tender, quiet embrace. There is only this simple presence, this profound and soothing stillness, allowing every part of you to drift naturally toward rest, as the last traces of motion fade away into the night. The grassy hill remains wrapped in this near total calm, the tall grass, standing quietly with only the barest awareness of the space lingering softly around it. Everything feels safe. Everything feels ready for the final descent into sleep, with only the gentlest observation remaining in this wonderfully peaceful night. The night has become the softest, most loving embrace imaginable, wrapping you completely in its warm and endless tenderness as you lie peacefully in bed, your body now fully heavy and surrendered, eyes half closed in the gentlest fading awareness of the grassy hill. You sit calmly, surrounded by the tall grass that rests in near total stillness under the vast dark sky. Only the faintest, most delicate awareness of the space remains, a quiet sense of the meadow, the hill, and the night itself, all dissolving slowly and naturally into deep, peaceful rest. The tall grass stands completely quiet now, its blades upright and relaxed, barely touched by any movement at all. The wave-like motions have fully softened away, leaving only the gentlest memory of their slow, rolling presence, like a breath that has finally come to complete rest. The hill beneath you feels like the kindest foundation, warm and steady, cradling your form with infinite care as everything around it grows softer and more distant. The night air has settled into perfect calm, cool and still, carrying only the faintest trace of earth and green that drifts away like mist in the darkness. The starlight above is dimmed to its softest, most distant glow, barely present, allowing the entire hillside to melt gently into the embracing dark. Sounds have disappeared entirely into the vast silence, leaving only the deep, soothing quiet that feels like a protective blanket drawn slowly over everything. Your breathing has become wonderfully slow and light, each inhale a soft, lengthening sigh, each exhale releasing you further into this tender stillness, matching the gradual dissolving of the scene itself. The grassy hill holds you securely in this final, gentle space, where awareness itself begins to soften and fade. The tall grass rests without any motion, its presence now like a quiet companion, slowly receding into the night. The night wind is quieted to nothing, leaving only the peaceful stillness of the meadow under the dark sky. Shadows and light have merged completely into one soft, kind darkness that invites every remaining trace of thought to drift away without effort. There is only this simple, loving quiet: the hill, the grass, the night, all becoming lighter, softer, more distant. Lying peacefully in your bed, you feel the entire scene on the grassy hill gently dissolving like a beautiful dream, slowly fading as sleep approaches. The tall grass stands in perfect, unbroken rest. The hill supports you with unchanging tenderness, and the vast night wraps everything in its warm, safe embrace. Your body feels heavier still, sinking comfortably into the mattress as your awareness grows lighter and more spacious, simply letting go into this final whisper of calm. The cool air lingers only as the softest memory. The stars have nearly vanished, and the stillness feels complete and kind. Everything here is ready for sleep. The wave-like motions of the grass have long since softened into nothing, leaving only this gentle, dissolving awareness of of the peaceful hill under the night sky. Your breathing continues its slow, natural rhythm, growing even softer with each cycle, guiding you deeper and deeper into rest. There is no need to hold on to anything, only to let this tender scene fade naturally, like the last gentle sigh before drifting off completely. The grassy hill remains in its quiet, loving stillness, the tall grass resting peacefully as the night holds you both in its tender care. Awareness itself softens further, becoming lighter, more distant, like a thought slowly melting into the warm darkness. The entire space feels safe, protected, and endlessly kind, inviting you to release fully into the deep, healing sleep that waits so gently for you. As the final moments unfold, the peaceful scene on the grassy hill continues to soften, the tall grass quiet and still, the hill steady and warm, the night wind gone into complete silence, everything dissolving slowly, peacefully, into the softest, most loving rest. You are safe, you are calm, you are drifting gently now, deeper and deeper into peaceful sleep. Where are you drifting over tonight? Let the weightlessness take over your body. If this story helped you find peace, please consider subscribing for more nightly journeys. Sleep well, traveler.